Welcome to tonight's Terror, where you can expect original scary stories. Nothing here is written or narrated by AI. If you enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel and sharing your thoughts in the comments. Thanks for visiting, and enjoy the story. April 2nd, 3:40 p.m. Hey neighbor, these are my notes for you. Because you wanted me to watch your place while you were away, I figured with my memory, it would be best to just keep a log. I think your niece is staying there while you travel, but she's just a kid, so I'll keep an eye out for her too. I'm just across the street, so it's no trouble for me. Signed, The Neighborhood Watch. April 5th, 6:10 a.m. Dear neighbor, we had a hard frost last night. Your tulips look happy enough though. Everything looks A-okay at your place. No one coming or going the last few days. Signed, The Neighborhood Watch. April 7th, 11 a.m. Dear neighbor, we had a whole herd of deer in the neighborhood just now. At least 8 of them just sauntering through. They cleaned up the fallen apples beneath your trees for you. I've never seen you pick the apples. Do you just let them fall for the deer? Signed, The Neighborhood Watch. P.S. Do you like the moniker? Neighborhood Watch. Maybe I'll have t-shirts made. April 7th, 3:20 p.m. Dear neighbor, I hate to tell you this, but it looks like your niece just bumped the garage door with her car. I can't quite see if there's a dent. You may have to ask her about it. That is your niece, right? Sorry if I'm getting that wrong. She's a good kid. Just wait and see. I bet she tells you about it herself. I was thinking of stopping by the house and bringing her some of my brownies. Once you mentioned that you could smell them from your front step, so I thought she might like some. Signed, The Neighborhood Watch. April 8th, 9:45 p.m. Dear neighbor, I didn't end up bringing the brownies over. I didn't want to spook your niece while she's staying at your place all alone. She seems nervous. I saw her standing at the front window just now, looking out into the dark like she expected something. I waved. She didn't wave back. I can imagine that it's a bit uneasy living in that big house all by herself. Do you think it would help if she knew I was keeping an eye on her? Maybe she's just shy. Signed, The Neighborhood Watch. April 9th, 2:20 a.m. Neighbor, someone was just in your backyard. I saw them. At first I thought it was the girl standing on the back porch, but this person was much taller. I was about to call the police when your motion light turned off. When it came back on, they were gone. Does your niece have an old boyfriend who shouldn't be coming around? It's very late, and I'm worried about her. Maybe I should go over and knock, just to be sure she's okay. Signed, The Neighborhood Watch. April 9th, 9:10 a.m. Dear neighbor, I've been going through my security footage, just to be sure I'm not imagining things. When I get to 2 a.m., there's nothing. Your backyard is completely empty. I've watched it a dozen times now. I suppose I was mistaken. Signed, The Neighborhood Watch. P.S. Don't worry about my cameras. None of them can see inside your house. April 11th, 6:30 p.m. Dear neighbor, I've been spending more time in my basement lately. It's peaceful down here. Quiet. I can focus. You know how some people unwind with crossword puzzles or fishing? For me, it's my models. The delicate work of laying tiny tracks and placing miniature trees and painting details onto the smallest of houses. It keeps my hands steady and my mind sharp. The train is running well tonight, smooth and steady along the rails. I watch it circle through my little town, past the tiny school, the post office, the rows of homes. There's something so satisfying about watching it cruise along just as it should. In this town, there are no unexpected visitors. No lingering figures where they shouldn't be. Everything is in its right place. I've been working on something new. Your house. It wasn't easy getting the siding color and bay windows just right, making sure the front porch was the perfect depth, but it's coming along beautifully. Every detail just as I see it. Even the curtains, though lately I suppose I don't need to include those. I haven't added your niece yet. I will. Soon. Signed, The Neighborhood Watch. April 13th, 11:02 p.m. Dear Neighbor, I've been a bit bored tonight. I've had my eye on your place for what feels like hours now. I was feeling bad spending so much time in the basement with my models instead of watching your house like I promised. Don't worry. Everything is as it should be. The girl's bedroom light is on. I can see her shadow moving back and forth over and over like she's pacing. I think maybe she's nervous. Is that boyfriend bugging her? The backyard light is on for the 4th night in a row. I wonder if she saw something like I did last week. She should close the blinds. It's not safe to leave them open like that. Someone might be watching. Signed, The Neighborhood Watch. April 20th, 7 a.m. Dear Neighbor, I got another message from my boss. He's starting to sound impatient about me coming back to work. The last time we talked, I tried to explain that I had obligations to fulfill here. I told him that someone was counting on me to take this job seriously. I asked him if I could go on leave until you got back from your trip. He'd hung up before answering, so I think he's considering it. Between you and me, I don't really like my job. I move crates of produce with a forklift all day. My coworkers don't talk to me much. I try to be social and talk about things that interest me, like my model trains or the deer that eat apples in your yard, but people don't care about those things the way I do. There's one man, another forklift driver, that was nice to me a few months ago, and he asked me about the model I was working on. There are some good people in this world. I wanted to know more about him so we could be friends. So after work, I followed his car to his house. It's a gray house with a long driveway. He had parked and walked inside before I could think of something nice to ask him. I waited for a long time, but he didn't come back out. I guess I fell asleep while I was watching his door because the next thing I knew the sun was up again and he was standing beside my car, he was tapping on the window, and he had this strange expression on his face. I think maybe he was angry, and then I got a little scared, so I drove away without ever asking him about any of his hobbies. Has that ever happened to you, neighbor? Signed, The Neighborhood Watch. April 21st, 10:20 p.m. Dear Neighbor, your niece is still awake. She sat in the kitchen with a very large glass of wine, and for a long time she didn't take a single sip. Then around 9:30 she answered a phone call. Who do you think would call a young girl so late at night? After she was done talking, she drank the whole glass of wine in one gulp. She must be scarcely old enough to buy alcohol. My guess is 23. Now she's in the bedroom with the light on. She isn't even dressed for bed yet. She can't be thinking of going out at this hour, can she? Signed, The Neighborhood Watch. April 22nd, 2:45 a.m. Dear Neighbor, she saw me. I wasn't trying to scare her, I was just watching like I always do, but she pulled her curtains closed quite fast, like she was startled. I had just been standing across the street under that street lamp they still haven't fixed. You know the one. I hope they never fix it. Maybe she only saw a shape. Maybe she wasn't sure. I thought about going to the door and knocking just to let her know it was me that you'd asked me to do this. Then maybe she wouldn't feel so alone in that house. I don't think she has many friends. She doesn't have visitors except for one time when a man came and stood at her front step for a long time before she finally opened the door. She barely spoke to him. I wonder if she needs a friend. Signed, The Neighborhood Watch. April 26th, 1:10 p.m. Dear neighbor, good news. My boss just called and told me that I don't need to come in anymore. I'll have plenty of time to watch your house with no distractions now. Has your trip been nice so far? I can't remember where you said you were going. Signed, The Neighborhood Watch. April 27th, 3:45 a.m. Dear neighbor, I did it. She's finished. I've been working so hard, staying up late, making sure every little detail is just right. At first I thought she would be just another figure in my perfect little town, standing on your miniature porch, gazing out like she does every night before she makes dinner. But something happened as I worked. I realized that the details mattered more than ever this time. I couldn't just shape a tiny figure and leave it at that. I needed to make her real. I needed the tilt of her head, the curve of her fingers, the way her hair falls across her face when she leans forward in thought. So I made her bigger. At first, just a little, but then I realized I needed more space to get the shading on her lips right. More room to sculpt the way her hands rest at her sides. More height to capture the way she moves through the house. A little flouncy and whimsical. And before I knew it, she was my size. She is a beauty, neighbor. You'd be so proud of my work. Her skin, though made of paper mache, has the texture almost like real flesh. The paint brought her to life. Her eyes are wide and welcoming. They look right to me. I have a problem with her clothes, though. Right now she's just dressed as some stuff I got from Goodwill. Nothing like the lovely things she wears. She fits in perfectly here. She's too big for the train town, of course. She doesn't belong there anyway. I like having her here, standing beside my chair and watching me work. Other times, she faces the window. I have a little half window at the top of the wall in my basement. I can see her garage and some of the yard from there. So it's kind of like she's watching me while I watch her. Isn't that funny? Signed, The Neighborhood Watch. April 30th, 1:50 a.m. Dear neighbor, my heart is still pounding. I just left your house. I was so tired of looking at our niece in that drab Goodwill outfit, so I let myself into your place to borrow some of her clothes. I was sure to put the spare key back where it belongs. I won't name the hiding spot here, just to be safe. Neighbor, I have to tell you, I've always wondered what your house looked like inside. How many times have I stood outside or watched from my windows, seeing the glow of the lights, imagining the way your rooms must be arranged, picturing the furniture, the decorations, your personal little touches, and now finally, I know. It's more wonderful than I expected. Your house has this quiet stillness to it, just like my model train town. But this is even better. The air was so warm, and I even caught the scent of her shampoo lingering in the hallway. The soft hum of the fridge in the kitchen was the only sound. Mine makes that noise too. I walked carefully. My socks barely made a whisper on the floorboards. I didn't want to wake her. I stood in the living room for a long time, just soaking it in. The couch where she curls up with her phone. The dining table where she absent-mindedly spins her wine glass while she thinks. Then I went to her room. It wasn't hard to find the right clothes to borrow. I slowly opened the closet, but then I noticed some of my favorites were right there on the floor. She sleeps so deeply, neighbor. She had kicked off the covers in her sleep. I stood right over her for a minute or two. I needed to make sure I'd gotten every detail on my model right. So I took a picture. Just one. Just to compare. Looking at the photo now, I see where I can make adjustments. The slope of her nose needs refining. The way her lips part slightly as she sleeps. I can capture that better. If you saw my model train village, you'd know I take this stuff seriously. I wish I could have stayed longer, but I'll go back. I'll keep an eye out for another good reason to visit. Some things are worth the wait. Signed, The Neighborhood Watch.
Police report. Case number 24-042756. Date April 30, 2024. Reporting officer, Officer Daniel R. Hayes. Location 3621 Hartman Drive. Incident summary. At approximately 1:50 p.m. on April 30th, 2024, the Simsbury Police Department received a call from Miss Evelyn Carter, resident of 3621 Hartman Drive, reporting a break-in. Officers arrived on the scene at 2:12 p.m. and spoke with Miss Carter, who provided the following statement regarding the incident.
I live alone. No one else has keys to my house, and I haven't given permission to anyone to come in. Last night, I went to bed around 11:30 p.m. This morning when I woke up, I noticed my closet door was open. I always close it. Some of my clothes are missing. It's not much, but I know they're missing. They're clothes that I wear often. I doubted myself at first. They could have been in the hamper or the washing machine, but about an hour ago, I saw something on my nightstand that I didn't notice when I woke up this morning. It's this Polaroid picture of me, asleep. Whoever was in here took it from the foot of the bed. I don't own a Polaroid camera, and I have no idea how it got there. I have never felt so violated in my life. I checked the house right away. The doors were still locked and nothing seemed out of place. But the idea that someone was in my bedroom, watching me sleep, taking photos of me, it makes me feel sick. I don't know how they got in, and I don't know what else they did while I was sleeping. I also found this note in my mailbox this afternoon. It's not signed, but it seems like some kind of invitation. Look, it asks me to come and meet my niece in the basement. It also mentions watching the house as a favor to me. I don't have a niece. I live here alone. I've never asked anyone to watch the house. Whoever left this note, whoever came inside, thinks I'm someone I'm not, or they're just sick in the head. I need this taken seriously. I don't feel safe in my house.
Officers' observations. Upon investigation of the premises, no signs of forced entry were observed. The missing clothing could not be located. The Polaroid picture and handwritten note were collected as evidence. Ms. Carter's home does not have security cameras, and no neighbors reported suspicious activity. Ms. Carter was advised to change her locks immediately and was provided information on installing a security system. A request for increased neighborhood patrols has been submitted. At this time, the suspect remains unidentified. A formal investigation is ongoing. Next steps. Forensic analysis. The Polaroid photograph will be analyzed for fingerprints. Community outreach. Officers will canvass the neighborhood for additional witnesses and information. If there is an active neighborhood watch, officers will request increased vigilance.
May 5th, 5:10 p.m. Dear neighbor, something exciting is happening on our street. The police have knocked on my door twice today. I haven't answered because I'm too busy with a new project. I hope you're not upset with me, but I have to start watching a new house. It's the yellow one, 2 down from you. They just moved in and I can tell they're overwhelmed. They have 4 kids. I've had them on my mind since the moment the moving truck pulled up and haven't been able to tear my eyes away. They haven't asked for my help yet, but just like with you, I just know they want an extra set of eyes on the house. I hope you're pleased with the job I've done. I'll slip all my notes in your mailbox tonight. I'm sure you'll get a kick out of reading them. Signed, The Neighborhood Watch.